Well, we're not going to war for you or nobody else.
Oh, easy. I'm hearing your inventory is depleted. And you would have played nice with Quan, you wouldn't be in such a fucking pickle. And I don't know where the fuck you get your confidence from. You sure as hell ain't from the fucking facts right in front of your face.
How we know Stefano ain't gonna make a deal with Jersey and fuck us?
We don't.
Maybe we gotta make a move on Stefano.
That's a big fucking move.
That's a big fucking problem.
The best way to avoid bloodshed is to move Raq aside. And I think you are just the guy for the job.
That ain't a job I'm looking for. And that's not shit you should ever say to me again.
Let's be back up in the big ring.
When and where?
Changing the game all over again.
This bitch gonna pay, man.
Welcome back, Top Notch Gang, to another video. We're once again here in the aftermath of season 4, episode 7 of Raising Kanan. Allow me to reintroduce myself, and within it, Unique being back has started a whole war. People are picking and choosing sides, having to make tough decisions on their moves going forward. With Raq being out of product, Unique, his crew occupying the streets, being backed by Phil Russo out in New Jersey, and them wanting war with Stefano. Huge decisions are about to be made with the likes of Stefano, Marvin, and Snaps and Pops, and we're gonna go through all that within this video on the betrayal that Snaps and Pops is gonna do to Raq and Marvin, how they're gonna side with Unique. We saw them meet with him at the end of the last episode, already plotting, planning, and scheming to jump ship from Raq to Unique if things start looking south, which they already are. Also, Marvin, Stefano saying that Raq is the key to all this, get her out the way, and maybe everything will be smoothed over. We're gonna go ahead and break it all down, how Marvin decides to go on his own mission to take out Stefano for the Thomas family, and how that will possibly be the wrong decision by the end of the season. So as usual, you guys can leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this down below. But let's go ahead and get right into it. So we got to start off with the descriptions for episodes 408 and 409, because they give us new clues, hints, and insight on how all this is going to connect back to everything we just received in episode 7. So episode 408, Street Struck, says Raq goes on the offensive as Marvin and Lou attempt to contain the escalating situations. And episode 409, It's About That Time, says Raq faces fallout from Unique's retaliation and Marvin's mistake. Now, Marvin's mistake, that's very interesting. We know Marvin has done a lot of shit this season so far, and we were wondering what was going to be that mistake that all comes back to fall upon him. We know, of course, early in the season, he was working with Stefano, lied about it, killed the dude out in Corona. We thought that was going to get him in trouble with Stefano. He, of course, put Early in that position, and he doesn't know Early is working with Unique. A lot of people thought that was going to be the mistake to come back to bite them, to get them caught in the end. A lot of people thought that mistake was going to be revealing that he was the one who took out Famous. It was a lie. But now I'm thinking that mistake is him killing Stefano without Raq say so, him going ahead and making that move on his own. And we already got a lot of signs and hints towards this within episode 7, as well as the new preview for episode 8. So we're about to break down everything we just received. So once again, starting in season 4, episode 7, with Unique taking over everything, now having Quan in his corner, front him the product, and being backed by Phil Russo, which of course Stefano and everyone doesn't know yet. When Stefano, Raq, and Marvin has this meetup, Stefano is pissed at how Raq played her hand. Basically, there she's out of product, Unique is running the streets, he's in control, they don't know who backing him, and he's just letting her know that she did everything wrong. He says he's gonna look into some things, find out who's backing Unique, and they'll make a plan on all this later. But they all agree that they're really not trying to go to war. He's not trying to go to war for them, and they're not trying to go to war for him. But later on within the episode, he decides to meet with Marvin by himself. Now, we know if they've been doing this multiple times over the course of this entire season. Raq even questioned Marvin about it, because Andre told her that the cops saw Marvin meeting with Stefano separately earlier this season.
You and Marvin were observed separately meeting with Mr. Marchetti earlier this week.
My Marvin.
They said the feds watching Stefano's shop. He said they saw you walking out of there a couple days ago.
She was wondering what was going on. So they've done this multiple times, and this time is way different because this time Stefano approaches Marvin with the idea of eliminating Raq and him taking her spot.
The best way to avoid bloodshed is to move Raq aside. And I think you are just the guy for the job.
And he does this because, of course, he finds out Unique is being backed by Phil Russo, who's, of course, close with Sal. But Sally wants revenge for Stefano getting them to take out Sal. And he wants to put Stefano between a rock and a hard place so the rest of his family take out Stefano for him. So he decides that, once again, he doesn't want to go to war. It's not in his best interest. So he wants to get Marvin to take out his own sister and take that position. And Marvin declines that shit. He was like, don't question him about it. Don't ask him about that shit ever again if he knows what's good for him, basically. And this is all interesting because earlier in this episode, Marvin already proposed to Raq that they should be the ones to take out Stefano.
Maybe we gotta make a move on Stefano.
That's a big fucking move.
That's a big fucking problem.
Saying this is a big problem, they have to make big moves, basically. And he said, we don't know if Stefano is gonna sell us out. Turns out he was willing to sell out Raq. So he was right about that. But the main problem is Stefano is the only person in Raq's corner at this moment. When she went and met with the new Afghani Connect, Stefano was the one she brought to the business meeting. So she can't really take him out, especially with the 5 families. That would have to be a decision they make. She shouldn't be able to do that on her own. So she's telling Marvin, hey, this is a big move, maybe hold on. But the way Marvin's been moving this entire season, he's already been making moves on his own. I mean, when she told him not to kill the owner that was in charge of the trucks because they gotta work with him, Marvin still took that nigga out, and now they working with the nigga who on coke and doing dumb shit, don't fucking listen. So he's already been making all these moves on his own, once again working with Stefano behind her back. So I think that's gonna continue come the next episode. We already could see in the episode 8 preview Marvin and Stefano in a meeting with one another, and in the clip we hear Stefano say when and where.
And where?
This lets me know, or it at least gives me the hint or idea that Marvin went back to Stefano, told him the plan was a go, they're gonna take out Raq together, everything like that, and Stefano is asking for the location. I of course think Marvin is making this move on his own once again due to the episode 9 description talking about Marvin's mistake. I think he's gonna decide this is what's best for the family, but it actually won't be the right decision. And this is for 2 big reasons. One, as I just mentioned, Stefano is her other working partner with the Afghani Connect, and we could see in the episode 8 preview as well that she is about to get the product she's been waiting for. The reason that they've been conceding the streets, the markets, the stores and everything like that to Unique is because they're running thin on product. Once her relationship with Quan ended, she's been waiting for the Afghani nigga to get her more work so everything could get back up and running. She's gonna get that within the next episode, but with him killing Stefano, he's cutting off another huge part of their business. And once again, they mentioned in this episode that Quan is possibly going to turn the Chinese spots over to Unique. We already seen them taking over it within the last episode. So when Marvin makes this move on his own, he completely rips apart her business with Stefano as well as the Afghani nigga. Now, the consequences and repercussions that this is gonna have to fall back on Marvin is still unknown. Now, a lot of people like to point out the episode 10 description talks specifically about Raq and Lou going to war with Unique, or a possible war, it says. And a lot of people say this because they believe Marvin dies in the end of episode 9, possibly, or gets hurt, or he's out the picture, whatever. But we know Lou is slowly entering back into this game. As we saw in the last episode, he said if Unique is attacking them, he's attacking him as well. So he's willing to go to war about it, and Marvin making this ultimate mistake, I think, is what catapults them fully into this war, especially if something does happen to Marvin. Lou is definitely diving head first back into the game. So the repercussions, we don't know just yet, but I think this is going to be the biggest mistake he's made so far this season. He's been making too many moves on his own. It was only a matter of time before one of them came to bite him in the ass. And we do see in the trailer, in the preview trailer, someone shoot shooting into a car with a gun. We can't really know who's shooting it or who's in the car or anything like that, but I do believe Stefano will die within the next episode. I believe the episode's in like 2 weeks though, because they're taking that 1 week break. But you guys let me know down below, who do you believe is dying in this scene, and if it's Stefano. Last up, as I mentioned in the intro, Snaps and Pops. I think a huge betrayal is coming for them towards Raq and them, probably sometime in this season, and that's because they've always been the opportunists. Even going back to last season when he saw Kanan moving work on his own, Ronnie picked him up, brought him to the club, linked him with Snaps and Pops, and they were making deals behind Kanan's back with Ronnie to take out Raq. Of course, Kanan was pissed off about that, but then Kanan, Raq, along with Snaps and Pops, made a deal for them to take out Ronnie, and Kanan just paid him back the money and shit like that. So they just flip-flop back and forth based on who's winning at that point in time or what's most beneficial to them. So within the last episode, when we saw them meet up with Marvin and Raq, they didn't really say, hey, we're on y'all side. They said they're gonna keep their ears to the streets, they're gonna watch their backs, hey, y'all watch y'all's, but they didn't really confirm that, hey, we in this together basically. And when Raq and Marvin leave, they start talking, say, hey, it might be possible for us to make a player of our own with Unique.
Could be an opportunity.
We gotta move strategically basically, and later within the episode we do see them and Unique meet up. Now we don't get any insight on the conversation they have, if they made a deal, what's gonna go down, but we do know there's a few more scenes and teasers we saw of Snaps and Pops that we have yet to see take place within the season. So they're gonna at least have a couple more scenes, and if it has to do with this possible war between Raq and Unique, I think they're gonna inevitably side with Unique. This is gonna get them caught up eventually. You can't just keep doing this flip-floppy shit and think you're gonna continue to get away with it. Now currently Kanan still owes the money, so I don't think they will do anything to jeopardize them getting paid first before they try to take out a Kanan, a Raq, a Marvin, or anyone like that. But it does seem like they're keeping their options open on who to side with, and they're just gonna move accordingly. Now that's something to keep an eye on. You guys let me know the decision, the deal, or anything they made with Unique. It is gonna come back to once again bite Raq and the rest of the Thomas family in the ass. Overall though, that's it for this video. You guys can leave your thoughts, opinions down below in the comments as usual. I think this is the next play for Marvin. I don't think it's going to be the right one, as the description says. Probably the biggest mistake he's going to make, which is crazy because he's done so much shit. But a lot of people are expecting his death to be the last catalyst to Jukebox like completely crashing out. We already kind of see her heading towards that point. Like she's completely losing it. Only person losing it worse than her is possibly Unique, but Marvin making this move, it's gonna put them between a rock and a hard place, no pun intended. We're gonna have to see the outcome for the Thomas family at the end of the season. I think it's crazy we're 4 seasons in and none of them got killed or anything yet, but season 5 is the last season. If they're going to war with Unique in the episode 10 descriptions, it's possibly gonna play over into season 5. All hell breaks loose, just pure chaos. So I can't wait for that. As usual though, you guys leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what other videos, theories, ideas you have down below. But I'm out.